Hi, I'm Freak Boy, and welcome to Freak Boy Runs. I'm up for my long run. It's scheduled to be a 25-kilometer long run with hot spots. So the way it works is I'm doing a 4-kilometer warm up here, easing into it. Really quite easy, at least for the first couple of kilometers, and then I'll build up. Then I've got hot spots that go 3 kilometers at marathon pace, followed by 2 kilometers easy. Repeat 3 times. After that, 1 more kilometer hot spot, and then 5 kilometers to finish. I'm going to include an extra about a 2 kilometer hot spot at the end if I'm feeling good. That's kind of normal for me, and that will build my long run by a mile longer than it was last week. So that's the idea. But since I haven't been feeling, I'd say, 100% physically this past week, that's going to be optional. We're going to see how that goes. I've got a half marathon next weekend, and I was asking my coaches about how I should handle that, and my theory was to just run it at marathon pace rather than race it at half marathon pace, trying to get a PB or anything like that. Pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. The other option is that if I take it easier this week, then maybe race it at half marathon pace next weekend, and then use this week as kind of an impromptu deload week. I don't think I'm going to do that, but that's an option. So we'll see. The key point is self-preservation. Make sure I don't injure myself trying to do this pro plan. I don't need to do it precisely as prescribed. I need to do it in a way that works for me. So that's the plan for today, and that's kind of the potential options for a plan for the coming week, and we'll see how it all goes. I'll probably try and give you a few updates here during the long run, let you know how the hot spots are going and how it's going overall. And so I'll see you on the flip side. I have about a minute left in the last impromptu hotspot. I wasn't able to really drop the hammer, but I did as good as I could. Should be my fastest couple of kilometers, but still just barely at marathon pace. This should be it here. Ran the last mile at 7:33 pace. So that's right in the marathon pace range, but it really felt hard. My heart rate went a little bit too high, up into excuse me, into zone 3, just on your left here, and then I'm going to turn right. It was hard. That was a tough session. They can't all go perfectly. I know that. It went well enough. I, for the most part, achieved my heart rates. I got the distance in that I wanted to get. I just didn't quite get the pace that I was hoping for. It was a beautiful day. Really good running conditions. A little bit of wind, but nothing out of the ordinary. And as I said, my momentum and rhythm was thrown off a little bit by restroom breaks, also by mud. It rained overnight, and there was several muddy, very slippery spots that I almost bit it a few times. So I had to really be careful, and that slowed me down and messed up my rhythm as well. So I can't really, I'm not blaming that. You know, it wasn't my rhythm that really was the problem today. It was my energy. But the important thing is I got it done. Now I'm going to take a look and see how it really compares to the last time I did this session back in October or November. I'll check those numbers out and report back. Yeah, I had time to check out the data, and as I suspected, my split times were significantly slower than the last time I did this exact same session, which, you know, is a little bit concerning just because I'm hoping to get faster, and it's the exact same session as I did back on October 20th, 24. You know, now here we are. What is this? 4 months later, and I'm slower. But it's not time to panic or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it's just from fatigue, training more than I'm used to. I need to give myself a break, be kind to myself. So that's what I'm going to do. Just looking at the splits. Well, the overall time, first of all, the overall time was about 5 minutes slower than last time. And then even the you know, the easy pace splits were slower than before. It's hard for me to compare my heart rate, but I'm pretty sure my heart rate was the same or higher. Hey guys, pretty sure probably higher this time around, and I was going slower. So wish that wasn't the case, but it is what it is. But the splits themselves, they had quite a big range this time around. The easy pace splits were per kilometer anywhere from you know, the 5 minute range to 5.5. Some of them were even slower. You know, I started off pretty slow, and then I had a couple uphill climbs and things like that. I do throw in hills. I was doing this before as well. I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3 hill climbs So, I want to make sure I have hill climbs included in my long runs, since I'm going to have a lot of hills to do in Boston. And so some of those splits were affected by the hills. And then my marathon pace splits, they were meant to be in the 4:40 range and faster. Some were, just a couple were in that range. The rest were up closer to the high 440s, like 448, 449, some over 450. Yeah. So all that adds up, and that's between the easy pace, slower running, and the marathon pace, slower running, all totaled up to an extra 5 minutes of running for the same session. So it really does add up. But I'm gonna go forward. I should have pretty good weather this coming week for the tempo, it's actually going to be a threshold session first and then a tempo. And then I've got that half marathon on Sunday of next week that I'm going to be doing in place of a long run. So that's probably going to be a video unto itself. But I will pick you guys back up sometime during the week, during the threshold or tempo, or both, depending. So we'll catch you then. It's not quite, it's light, but sun's not quite up. I'm just on my first break in between reps on 8 by 1200 meters threshold pace, which is high heart rate zone 3, low zone 4. My paces still aren't keeping up to where they were before, but one difference from this week's threshold to last week's is my heart rate is getting up to where it needs to be. So that's the important thing, as I always say. Yeah, I'm just gonna see how the rest of this goes. I got 7 more, so I'm barely started. I get 2-minute rests in between where I'm just doing a light jog, trying to get my heart rate down into, preferably down to zone 1. Yeah, I'm down in zone 1 now, so that's good. I'll put you guys down for the time being and try and enjoy the rest of this rest as much as I can. Okay, I just finished repeat number 5 out of 8, and I'm actually getting pretty close to the paces I was hitting the last time I ran this session, even with, or maybe 1 or 2 seconds slower for most of them so far. My heart rate right now is just pushing up to the top of zone 3, and I have 3 more reps to do. So I think I'm going to be good with the heart rate. High zone 3, low zone 4. So I'm happy so far with the session, although it's really freaking hard. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, just finished repeat number 8. Made it my fastest one. So I'm glad I had a little left in the tank. for the last one. Not gonna lie, this was hard. I had to dig deep. But I just told myself after the first rep, which was slower than I'd hoped for, that just try push a little bit harder and see if we could get to that same pace what we were at the last time we did these 1200 meter repeats. And that was at a mile pace of 7 minutes and 20 seconds per mile. Each 1200 meter rep at around 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And I got there and I didn't push my heart rate up out of zone 3. I wasn't really paying attention on that last rep because it was really hard, and I wasn't looking at my watch or listening really even to my announcements of what my heart rate was at, but I expect it might have gone up into zone 4 at the end of that one, which is fine. These are meant to go as high as low zone 4, and I think that's where I got to at the end. So I might have even had a little bit more to give, but that was enough for today. I'm happy with it. Feel a lot better than I did last week when I just couldn't get my heart rate up, even though it felt like I was running so hard. Yeah, so I'm hoping I'll feel good enough to run the tempo session here on Thursday. I think I should. And then I've got the half marathon on Sunday, so I'll only have a 2-day break between the tempo session and the marathon, or sorry, half marathon. I think right now I'm leaning towards just running it marathon pace, and then possibly still taking next week as an impromptu deload week. If I feel really good, I might run at half marathon pace and then take a deload week. We'll see. But I'll pick you guys back up on Thursday when I do the tempo session. Right now, I just want to relax for a bit. Just getting to the end of my warm-up for my tempo session this morning. I actually got a much later start than normal, so I have some daylight. Plus it's getting light earlier now, and it's almost March. This tempo session is going to be repeats of 1 kilometer high zone 3 and 1 kilometer in low zone 3. Repeat that 7 times. And the hard part about that is it's not as intense as the threshold sessions, but there's no breaks. So that whole 14K is done without any breaks. So by the end, it's pretty challenging. I don't know if I'll video during the session. I might not. Maybe if I get a nice sunrise, which doesn't really look like I will. But at the very least, I'll check in after I'm done. See you then. Okay, I'm just finishing the last rep. I'm on the low zone 3 kilometer now. I just finished less than a minute ago doing the high zone 3, the 7th rep. It's been a fight right from the beginning, but I made it through. So much of marathon training, and especially for me, this cycle is mental. I really had to fight off those demons that were trying to get me to quit. Right from probably about the second rep. I slowed down a little bit as the reps continued, but maintained the correct heart rate throughout. At the end, I think I did that last rep as my fastest. It was 4:30, but my paces are slower than the last. Can't remember if I've done this session twice before or once. At least once. And my paces are definitely slower, which is a sign that I'm probably getting fatigued, and I really do need that deload week next week that I've been planning to take. So this is just more evidence that I need to do that. I'll close things out with you guys here after I finish running, because I'm still just a bit too tired and I want to finish this last kilometer properly. See you in a sec. Man, that was hard. Like I said, it was a fight right from almost the beginning. Hopefully taking that impromptu deload week next week is going to help me recharge the batteries, allow me to do one good final push in the rest of the build block before Boston. There will be 4 weeks left of the build block, and potentially I'll make that 4th week a sort of deload week as well, and start my taper then. We'll see how it goes. If I'm getting, you know, as fatigued as I have been recently, then that'll be probably the wise thing to do. Anyways, I'm just a little bit too beat to analyze that too much more. I did at least save some energy to finish strong. So I'm happy about that, and I'm happy that I fought through it and I didn't give up. That's really important, to just fight through those mental battles, not give up. You know, it's different if you're actually injured or in danger of injuring yourself, but I don't think I was in that situation. I was just really drained and not feeling like finishing and just not wanting to expend the energy, but I'm glad that I did. So I've got the half marathon on Sunday. Pick you guys back up probably the morning of the race, and then document how that goes. I think I'm going to only run marathon pace, or at least start running marathon pace. I'm not even sure that I can do that for a whole half marathon, so we're gonna find out what I got left in my legs by Sunday. But if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, share and comment if you want to say hi or tell me something else. And until next time, when Freak Boy runs, Freak Boy out.